Genesis chapter 6. For the Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came in to the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Numbers chapter 13:33. There also we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, a part of the Nephilim, and we became like grasshoppers in our own sight. And so we were in their sight. Deuteronomy 2:11. Like the Anakim, they are also regarded as Rephaim, but the Moabites call them Emim. Deuteronomy chapter 2:20. It is also regarded as the land of the Rephaim. For Rephaim formerly lived in it, but the Ammonites call them Zamzummin. Deuteronomy chapter 3:11. For only Og king of Bashan was left of the remnant of the Rephaim. Behold, his bedstead was an iron bedstead. It is in Rabbah of the sons of Ammon. Its length was 9 cubits and its width 4 cubits by ordinary cubit. Joshua 17:15. Joshua said to them, If you are a numerous people, go up to the forest and clear a place for yourself there in the land of the Perizzites and of the Rephaim, since the hill country of Ephraim is too narrow for you. Joshua 18:16. The border went down to the edge of the hill which is in the valley of Ben Hinnom, which is in the valley of Rephaim northward. And it went down to the valley of Hinnom, to the slope of the Jebusite southward, and went down to En Rogel. 1 Samuel chapter 17:4. Then a champion came out from the armies of the Philistines named Goliath, from Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. 2 Samuel chapter 21:16. Then Ishbi-Benob, who was among the descendants of the giant, the weight of whose spear was 300 shekels of bronze in weight, was girded with a new sword, and he intended to kill David. 2 Samuel chapter 21:20. There was war at Gath again, where there was a man of great stature who had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot, 24 in number, and he also had been born to the giant. Numbers chapter 13:28. Nevertheless, the people who live in the land are strong, and the cities are fortified and very large, and moreover, we saw the descendants of Anak there. Deuteronomy 1:28. Where can we go up? Our brethren have made our hearts melt, saying, The people are bigger and taller than we. The cities are large and fortified to heaven. And besides, we saw the sons of the Anakim there. Deuteronomy chapter 2:10. The Emim lived there formerly, a people as great, numerous, and tall as the Anakim. Deuteronomy chapter 9:2. A people great and tall. The sons of the Anakim, whom you know and of whom you have heard it said, Who can stand before the sons of Anak? Joshua 11:21. Then Joshua came at that time and cut off the Anakim from the hill country, from Hebron, from Debir, from Anab, and from all the hill country of Judah, and from all the hill country of Israel. Joshua utterly destroyed them with their cities. Joshua 14:15. Now the name of Hebron was formerly Kiriath Arba, for Arba was the greatest man among the Anakim. Then the land had rest from war. Joshua 15:14. Caleb drove out from there the 3 sons of Anak, Shishai and Ahiman and Talmai, the children of Anak. Joshua 13:12. All the kingdom of Og in Bashan, who reigned in Ashtaroth and in Edrei, he alone was left of the remnant of the Rephaim, for Moses struck them and dispossessed them. Genesis chapter 14:5. In the 14th year Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him came and defeated the Rephaim in Ashtaroth Karnaim, and the Zuzim in Ham, and the Emim in Shaveh Kiriataim. Numbers chapter 13:32. So they gave out to the sons of Israel a bad report of the land which they had spied out, saying, The land through which we have gone, in spying it out, is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people whom we saw in it are men of great size. Joshua 14:12. Now then, give me this hill country about which the Lord spoke on that day. For you heard on that day that Anakim were there, with great fortified cities. Perhaps the Lord will be with me, and I will drive them out as the Lord has spoken. Amos chapter 2, 9. Yet it was I who destroyed the Amorite before them, though his height was like the height of cedars, and he was strong as the oaks. I even destroyed his fruit above and his root below. 1 Chronicles chapter 20, 8. These were descended from the giants in Gath, and they fell by the hand of David and by the hand of his servants. Deuteronomy chapter 2, 10 to 11. The Emim lived there formerly, a people as great, numerous, and tall as the Anakim. Like the Anakim, they are also regarded as Rephaim, but the Moabites call them Emim. Numbers chapter 13, 22. When they had gone up into the Negev, they came to Hebron, where Ahiman, Sheshai, and Talmai, the descendants of Anak, were. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. Joshua chapter 15, 13 to 14. Now he gave to Caleb the son of Jephunneh a portion among the sons of Judah, according to the command of the Lord to Joshua, namely, Kiriath Arba, Arba being the father of Anak, that is, Hebron. Caleb drove out from there the 3 sons of Anak, Sheshai, and Ahiman and Talmai, the children of Anak. Judges chapter 1, 20. Then they gave Hebron to Caleb, as Moses had promised, and he drove out from there the 3 sons of Anak. 1 Chronicles chapter 25. And there was war with the Philistines again, and Elhanan the son of Jair killed Lahmi the brother of Goliath the Gittite, the shaft of whose spear was like a weaver's beam. 2 Samuel chapter 21, 18. Now it came about after this that there was war again with the Philistines at Gob. Then Sibbecai the Hushathite struck down Saph, who was among the descendants of the giant. 1 Chronicles chapter 24. Now it came about after this, that war broke out at Gezer with the Philistines. Then Sibbecai the Hushathite killed Sippai, one of the descendants of the giants, and they were subdued. 1 Chronicles chapter 26. Again there was war at Gath, where there was a man of great stature who had 24 fingers and toes, 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. And he also was descended from the giants. 1 Chronicles chapter 11, 23. He killed an Egyptian, a man of great stature 5 cubits tall. Now in the Egyptian's hand was a spear like a weaver's beam. But he went down to him with a club, and snatched the spear from the Egyptian's hand, and killed him with his own spear. From thematic Bible giants, Anakim giants, Emim giants, the last of. Destroyed by David and his warriors giants, the valley of David obtained victories over the Philistines in giants. Og, the king of Bashan, was of giants, subdued by Chedorlaomer giants, dwelt in. Canaan giants, the valley of, was exceedingly fruitful giants, the valley of, a border of Judah giants. Anakim. Joshua chapter 15, 14. Caleb drove out from there the 3 sons of Anak, Sheshai and Ahiman and Talmai, the children of Anak. Joshua 11:21. Then Joshua came at that time and cut off the Anakim from the hill country, from Hebron, from Debir, from Anab, and from all the hill country of Judah, and from all the hill country of Israel. Joshua utterly destroyed them with their cities. Joshua 14:15. Now the name of Hebron was formerly Kiriath Arba, for Arba was the greatest man among the Anakim. Then the land had rest from war. Deuteronomy 1:28. Where can we go up? Our brethren have made our hearts melt, saying, the people are bigger and taller than we. The cities are large and fortified to heaven. And besides, we saw the sons of the Anakim there. Deuteronomy 2:10. The Emim lived there formerly, a people as great, numerous, and tall as the Anakim. More verses. Deuteronomy chapter 9, 2 Numbers chapter 13, 28 Giants, Emim. Deuteronomy chapter 2, 10. The Emim lived there formerly, a people as great, numerous, and tall as the Anakim. Genesis chapter 14, 5. In the 14th year Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him came and defeated the Rephaim in Ashtaroth Karnaim, and the Zuzim in Ham, and the Emim in Shaveh Kiriataim. Giants, the last of, destroyed by David and his warriors. 2 Samuel chapter 21, 15 to 22. Now when the Philistines were at war again with Israel, David went down and his servants with him. And as they fought against the Philistines, David became weary. glory. Then Ishbi-Benob, who was among the descendants of the giant, the weight of whose spear was 300 shekels of bronze in weight, was girded with a new sword, and he intended to kill David. But Abishai the son of Zeruiah helped him, and struck the Philistine and killed him. Then the men of David swore to him, saying, "You shall not go out again with us to battle, so that you do not extinguish the lamp of Israel." 1 Samuel chapter 17, 4. Then a champion came out from the armies of the Philistines named Goliath, from Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. 1 Samuel chapter 17, 49 to 50. And David put his hand into his bag and took from it a stone and slung it, and struck the Philistine on his forehead. And the stone sank into his forehead, so that he fell on his face to the ground. Thus David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone, and he struck the Philistine and killed him. But there was no sword in David's hand. Giants. The valley of David obtained victories over the Philistines in 2 Samuel chapter 5, 25. Then David did so, just as the Lord had commanded him, and struck down the Philistines from Geba as far as Gezer. 2 Samuel chapter 5, 18. Now the Philistines came and spread themselves out in the valley of Rephaim. Giants. Og, the king of Bashan, was of Joshua chapter 13, 12. All the kingdom of Og in Bashan, who reign Ashtaroth and in Edrei, he alone was left of the remnant of the Rephaim. For Moses struck them and dispossessed them. Giants, subdued by Chedorlaomer. Genesis chapter 14, 5. In the 14th year Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him came and defeated the Rephaim in Ashtaroth Karnaim, and the Zuzim in Ham, and the Emim in Shaveh Kiriataim. Giants dwelt in Canaan. Joshua chapter 17, 15. Joshua said to them, "If you are a numerous people, go up to the forest and clear a place for yourself there in the land of the Perizzites and of the Rephaim, since the hill country of Ephraim is too narrow for you." Giants. The valley of was exceedingly fruitful. Isaiah chapter 17, 5. It will be even like the reaper gathering the standing grain, as his arm harvests the ears, or it will be like one gleaning ears of grain in the valley of Rephaim. Giants. The valley of a border of Judah. Joshua chapter 15, 8. Then the border went up the valley of Ben Hinnom to the slope of the Jebusite on the south, that is, Jerusalem. And the border went up to the top of the mountain which is before the valley of Hinnom to the west, which is at the end of the valley of Rephaim toward the north. Source: https://bible.knowing-jesus.com/topics/giants